My Auntie Melvina, she living out at Myra, and she I will always remember. Oh, she mixed the yam with the Tanya. That's why me sing, all people, this one is your tune. All people, you can wine and dance soon. All people, this one is your tune. All people, young people are cartoon. All people, this one is your tune. All people, you can wine and dance soon. All people, this one is your tune. All people, young people are cartoon. Every Sunday she go by the grinder. By the Baptist church round the corner. My granny was also a farmer, and I had to help Job my nana. That's why me sing, all people, this one is your tune. All people, you can wine and dance soon. All people, this one is your tune. All people, young people are cartoon. All people, this one is your tune. All people, you can wine and dance soon. All people, this one is your tune. All people, young people are cartoon. She can't push me feet.
WEFM, the new fresh sound. Activated mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In case you're just joining us, this is Ari. With me is Roleza, and we are Activated Mornings this morning. Just like to remind everyone that Searchlight Midweek is online, and here are the headlines. North Leeward crowns new Soca Monarch. Historic floodlights fully turned on at Arnesville Stadium. 91-day gun amnesty nets 18 illegal guns, 327 bullets. Color, music, and excitement mark Barley School's career day. Man acquitted of rape and indecent assault against his daughter. Hotels booked out for cricket carnival SVGHTA. CWI pitch curator rates Arnesville grounds as ready for competition. Timmy School past students plan reunion. Prime the Pump discusses when your biggest asset is also your biggest risk. Physicians Weekly. Topic is ensuring a safe and enjoyable Vincy Mass. Searchlight, journalism you can trust. Check us out at searchlight.vc.
All right. So before we even start with our talking segment, I just need to, that song I was playing a while ago, and the intro of it says, the song is for senior citizens 40 years and older. And I take offense to that. And I need to remind Skinny that he's now in his 40s. I need to figure out when he wrote it in his 20s if he actually thought that being 40 and over qualifies us to be senior citizens. So yeah, I had to raise it with him. But
that's 2024.
No, it's an old song. It's an old song. I think he may have written that one in his 20s.
Okay.
So when you're 20, you're thinking in your 40s is old, but I take offense because now I'm there, so I'm not a senior citizen.
Okay. It's the first time I'm hearing that song.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been around a while.
All right, so good morning, Redemption Shops. This morning, unfortunately, Shops is in the news for something negative. And just the other day, I was saying, Shops having street jump up, Shops having football, everything seems to be going well in the area of Redemption Shops. Just yesterday, I was hanging out in Redemption Shops. I did not expect this when I got home. So someone was gunned down last night in Redemption Shops. Residents said they heard 25 gunshots ring out in the area. The person who passed away is believed to have the nickname Macho. He was shot dead close to his home in Trigger Ridge. It is said that his father also died by the gun in 2007 and 2008. He's also a friend of another, appears to be, because they're seen in the same photograph, someone who was killed in 2022 in Redemption Shops. So it begs you to question, is it because of a certain lifestyle? Nevertheless, condolences to his family, the persons affected by his death. but we were just going so well in terms of homicide.
Yeah. Yes, it's unfortunate to hear this because we've had a lull. And I think many of us, when there is a lull or when there is quiet, we don't want to say anything about it for fear of jinxing what the peace that has been existing or the lack of gun-related violence that has been occurring. I didn't realize that this had happened until I saw it in the chat this morning. But 25 bullets or 25 gunshots, that is severe. And you could tell that they really did mean this person had to go, because 25 is a lot. This wasn't just a one and done or a two and done, but 25 means serious business, So yes, condolences to the family, to the friends as well. But I will be waiting to hear further details with regards to this particular situation, and not necessarily to just to hear a bit more of the situation in terms of the person who has passed away, and further details in relation to that person. So.
Yeah, so according to One News SVG, the incident is reported to have occurred in the Trigger Ridge area of Redemption Shops. They did, however, note that they are tracking the story and they will update it when they have better sources. I haven't seen any other media entity break the news.
Around what time did it happen, though?
That I am not sure of. I am not sure.
What time was the article posted?
One News.
See it there?
I'll have to double check. I'm not sure. Not really subscribed to One News, so I have to. So that's 9 hours ago.
Okay, my maths ain't so good. I'm
trying to see if there's. Okay, 10:22 p.m.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes.
This isn't what we want to hear. Given that we have the island is in a state of festivity on account of cricket and carnival, right? Yes, this is in a residential area just on the outskirts of of Kingstown, but we don't want to hear of this type of activity.
A residential area. Yeah, oh, you mean literally where people reside?
Yeah, so it is. No, I'm curious now what it is. What you mean?
When people say residential area, there's a certain neighborhood that you have in mind, like shops. Okay.
Oh, is that resident people live there? Primarily people live there.
Meant it in the literal way.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yep, we don't want to hear about it.
All right, so my question this morning is, we just saw the firearms amnesty come to an end last month. And you wonder, because I know a lot of persons have seen the photos, and I don't want to put it up here on WEFM, of the wall. And it's either that this man was walking by the wall or the person shot him from inside the house to the outside, but there are some large holes in this wall, and it makes you question, is that a high-power rifle? And how do people have these guns here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, for what purpose? And is it that you hated this man that much? Because if you see the size of these bullet holes, you're like, what's going on? And then there's a video of him laying on the floor, covered in blood. I am wondering, what could he have possibly done to make someone that they would want to kill him? Like from the photos, it looks like a firing squad.
Like you said, somebody stand against the wall and
yes, yeah. These photos are some large bullet holes, and different residents were saying, "Oh, they were literally just at home counting."
Okay. I think from the social headline, I think the gun amnesty netted 18 guns, and I suppose now, given that the gun amnesty has ended, as well as there are stiffer penalties now in place with regards to persons in possession of illegal firearms, would we actually see the court system implementing and
definitely will,
adhering to the changed laws?
Oh, we definitely will.
No more well, what we might, for those of us outside looking at it as what is lenient sentences, is the arm of the law going to come down fully on these persons? No, because they had their chance to hand over these weapons. Additionally, Ari asked a question about how do these guns get here? And if this is indeed a high-powered weapon, because that would have been my first thought. I just didn't say it, but it would have been my first thought, that was what it is that was used. Yes, how are they getting in here? But how, in what ways are we actually serious, or are we actually imposing very strict methods with regards to our ports of entry, in terms of things that might be coming into the country through barrels? Let's say, let's see what I'm looking for. Our waterways, the Coast Guard, what do you call them when they're up and down? Not patrolling, but there's another word that I'm thinking of. In terms of them, let me use patrolling for now. Patrolling our waterways. They should have the authority to be able to stop and search vessels, I think, within our waters. Does that happen? Can it happen?
I think we need to be realistic when we're approaching that, where there are fishermen, there are people with private vessels, there's hotels. So we see Sandals probably has, I would say, I have seen at least 4 to 5 boats on the waters. So we can't just, realistically, they can't just be stopping every single vessel. And then we're an island. Matter of fact, we're islands. And we're in an archipelago. So it's difficult for the Coast Guard to really be able to stop.
Right. So I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to stop everyone, but are they going to steep up? Let's say, I don't know if they have this stop and search. If they have this stop and search activity, somebody could clarify that for me. If you could just stop and search a vessel on the water, because as you're saying, yes, we have a porous border. We have multiple islands, but the guns are coming into the country somehow, and I don't believe that all of these guns are necessarily coming through our legal ports of entry, right? So is it that more has to be done in terms of, yes, you might think this, you may be saying, or not just Ari, but persons might be saying, yes, there are fishermen who are on the waters, and we may not necessarily think of them, let's say, in terms of hiding weapons, etc., but they could actually be one of the sources in which guns are coming into the country as well. So
yeah, I think it's very hard for the Coast Guard, especially they're losing recruits. They don't really have that many vessels. So it's very difficult for them to really stop the import of these type of guns. And I guess my question when I asked how did they get there was why? Why is it that someone would need a gun that powerful here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? We're not fighting anyone. So like, why?
Yeah, but if you mean to do business, you mean to do business? That's the mindset of a criminal. If it thief man the same way, if they mean to, or a burglar, if they mean to break in, they're going to break in. And in this case, shooting off rounds.
Was it chance that that a burglar here is going to be having a high powered flare
I didn't mean
the powerful weapon.
No, what I mean is somebody who has a criminal intent. If they mean to carry out an activity, they're going to carry out that activity.
Okay, so the caliber of the 18 firearms handed over are 3 9mm, one Glock 19 pistol, one S&W pistol, one 9mm pistol. There are 2 38s, a revolver 38, another revolver 38, rec revolver. Sorry, just 2 revolver, 2 38 revolvers, one 35, a rec revolver 35, one 380, a high point pistol. There are 2 12 gauge, a homemade 12 gauge shotgun, a double barrel 12 gauge shotgun. There are 2 25s, 25 pistol, a MP 25 pistol, automatic, and 6 22s, or 22 revolver, a Magnum pistol, a Ruger pistol, a regular 22 pistol, a 22 revolver. Yeah, those are the guns, and 327 bullets. That is how it is listed by the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. So they said that there will be a press briefing to present the results and outcomes of the amnesty, where they will also provide a comprehensive overview of the impact of the amnesty and the positive steps taken towards reducing illegal firearms. They have also extended gratitude to all who participated and contributed to the amnesty, noting that this cooperation remains crucial in their ongoing efforts to ensure a safer environment for all citizens.
Yeah. I mean, coming close to these festive events is I just don't want to. Well, I don't want to hear them. Period. But especially now when so many persons are going to be around, returning nationals, first time visitors to the country. Don't want to hear it happening. But I don't know.
Well, we never want to hear that there are these kind of violent crimes happening, but I think that people tend to what's the term? Because people so easily offended when you say certain things, although it's true. I'm wondering how to no, for real, it's really annoying, but then
let me hear what you're going to say, Harry.
Nah, it's okay. I'll find a way to rephrase that. But the persons that we usually see in these situations, as much as people don't like to hear it, are usually the persons that are involved in these situations.
Okay.
You don't hear somebody walking down the street and somebody firing 25 bullets at them while they walk in the dog, maybe because they're trashing the wrong trash can or something like that. You don't hear.
And I think many persons would be in agreement with you, which is why I said that I am waiting to hear a bit more about this individual, right? Because yes, in a sense, and I always tell people, when people ask or talk about safety here in SVG, to a greater extent, I still feel safe. I am not necessarily one who's going to think that I can become the victim of a random gun-related incident or violence, right? Because of the fact that my lifestyle, unless I'm going to be caught in a situation and let's say there's crossfire and I catch a stray bullet, then is when I believe that it could happen to me. But in terms of it just happening, gun-related violence I'm speaking about, right? In terms of it happening to just everyday regular citizens, that doesn't normally happen unless it's a case of robbery, and robbery that is where a firearm is used. But yeah, I alluded to it in part of what I was saying because I'm waiting to hear more information with regards to the victim.
Well, I'm wondering. Well, again, I reserve that thought. Sorry.
No.
This is not the platform for me to say certain things. That is why I want to say something, but this is not the platform to say certain things. The amnesty, however, as much as I applaud it, I was actually hoping for more.
Well, clearly one wasn't handed in. If it's only just one weapon that was used, one or two wasn't handed in. So,
but then on the other side of the argument, I do feel like a lot of ignorant, arrogant people have licensed firearms here, and this is something I wish people would look into more. The people who actually own the legal firearms here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because the everyday firearm owner would tell you, listen, this person was brandished in the firearm. That's something that's indictable offense. This person was firing it recklessly. This person has it driving around in their vehicle in a very boasting manner. I knew this caller was gonna come in. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller.
Hi, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sometimes when the issue of crime come up in this country, I feel that I am putting myself on the line because I've expressed my concern, and I know it doesn't go down well with people who might have their own agenda. And I will never in any way want to sweep things under the carpet when it comes to criminal activities. How plain could I put it out there? But then again, like I said, sometimes I feel like a lone ranger in all of this, and maybe because of how I sit. Sometimes I wonder if I was to become a criminal. Well, maybe it's too late now for me to become a criminal.
It's never too late to follow your dreams.
Stop it.
Well, what nonsense you talking about?
No, no,
Follow my
no.
dreams?
It's
Huh?
never too late to follow your
They
dreams.
say
eh?
following your dreams. I hope I want to wish you well, right? In following your dreams and all of that.
Thanks.
But this certainly must be a topic all the time. Yes, there was a lull. I myself was saying, well, I hope and trust that this can continue for a little while. But I noticed within recent times there might be a lull, and all of a sudden you have like the last shooting, well, not the last shooting, but in one shooting you could have a dozen people getting killed. How much in that mass shooting we had in Kingston, 5 of them went. And up to now, I hope the police are working on that. And this is the frightening thing about it. You know? And whether I'm a criminal or not a criminal, when I hear these kind of reports or what is being said, I must be concerned.
Dave, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me engage you a little bit. How do you feel safe in SBG? Do you feel safe in your home and within your community?
No way. No
you
way.
Don't?
I didn't grow up like this, and so on until recent times.
So when you're at home, you're afraid that something can happen to you or would happen to you?
Of course, yeah, without any hesitation, I'm saying yes.
Based on what?
Without any hesitation. Maybe it's a good thing I have dogs that can...
What is your fear based on?
As a human being, God made all of us, but then it seems as if He make us to shoot and kill people too, right? You will agree with that, eh?
What that's supposed to mean?
Anyways,
I am asking you, what is your fear based on?
Okay, so let me expand a little bit. Let me expand a little bit.
Long time as a human being.
Dave, let me expand a little bit. Is it a case where you are fearful because the community in which you live tends to have a lot of violent activities, or is it you're looking at what happens from the national standpoint?
That has come within recent times. I know. I always remember that Calypso King Austin, I think it is, the price of progress, the price we have to pay. Because on one hand, we're having all these negative, all the negative things taking place. And, you ask yourself, well, the questions come up on the radio, say, you guys talk about these topics. I've been hearing this for too long now. But then what can I do? I am just my own person and and if I can't make any impact, why should I say anything? Should I do anything? I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid and dotish and ignorant, the way sometimes how people respond to when I say certain things.
Okay, I'm not going to discount you. I'm not going to discount the fact that you're sharing your opinion, right? If this is what you feel, this is what you feel, right? But you may be just one of the minority because, and that's why I asked if it's a case where is it your fear based on the community in which you live in? Because if you live in particular communities, I can understand it. But let's say you're generally at home, your community is generally a safe community, then for me personally, I'm not understanding the reason for the fear, but if you feel the fear, then you feel the fear, right?
Oh, that was mercy. Well, let me say this. As you talk about community, yes, I'm living in the community of Arnesville, if that's how you're looking at it. But my community is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Does that make sense? In other words, all I'm trying to say, my concern has to do with the whole country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay, which is
fair for you to voice your concerns, but do you feel like if you're going to make groceries that someone is just going to come and attack you, maybe violently beat on you or shoot you?
Listen. That everybody have the way of thinking. We all can do something that even with a wife and husband. For instance, the gun amnesty. How many guns do you think we have in St. Vincent and Grenadines? You can think about how many guns, and we only were able to to retrieve, or they brought in 18, I just heard you said there. Do you believe it's only how much? 18. That's a small figure. That's a small amount.
Do you believe that
there are
when you're
many more
making
guns.
groceries that someone is just going to attack you?
Anyhow, like I said, maybe I don't make sense.
This is will be my problem with Dave, right? Dave will call in.
gosh,
Dave will
Lord.
say, I do not
speaking
feel
to Dave
safe. This is
directly.
happening here in my country. Okay, Dave, here's a question. Dave will dance completely around the question, and then he will call back the next day and he'll say, well, when I say certain things, people feel about Dave Roberts, when I say certain things. But you're being asked the question. Somebody has suggested that we ask you to come into the studio and have a one-on-one interview, just face-to-face, just us talking. Do you feel as if when you step out your home, that what you're reading in the news will happen to you?
Of course, I answered that too much times.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
okay.
that's
so,
interesting.
all right.
Thank you very much.
All
I
right.
mean, that's interesting.
All right. So how he feels is how he feels,
How he
and
feels, how he feels.
I
It's
can't
just
discount
interesting.
it. I
It's
can't
just
discount it.
interesting.
Right. So, all right. Thanks there for your usual contribution. All right. So stemming from that,
That's very interesting to hear.
well, I mean, the thing of it is that everybody is different, and as he said, he's looking at it from a national standpoint and not just from within his community, right? So I have to leave it alone,
But
Ari. I had to leave it.
I
had to leave
I
it.
am a nomad. I am a Vincent traveler all over the place. Yesterday, sitting down in shops, I didn't feel like I'm sitting in shops. That must mean that a gunman is going to come and kill me.
Well,
I
maybe
didn't feel that way.
maybe it was the time of day as well. But were you sitting by
But,
the roadside? Or?
There are people at the same shop where the incident happened in 2022. Listen, I know. And these are one of the statements that I try not to say on this platform. But I know when I go certain places and I see certain people at these places, I'm like,
This ain't for me.
This ain't for me.
All
Let me
right.
leave. Because it happened to me. And when I just came back to St. Vincent, I was at a place and I saw certain individuals and I was like, home time.
But there's nothing wrong with saying that, though, Ari. A lot of people
I'm in the parking lot. 2 of them got shot. Now, that is a rational fear in my opinion. But to just go somewhere, go to the supermarket, go to the gas station, go to have a drink.
To become a random victim.
Yeah, to become a random,
Right.
the likeliness is very low.
And especially if gun related. I think that is what we're trying to focus on, gun related, in terms of being a random victim. Unless, let's say, you own a shop and it's a robbery. It doesn't generally happen a lot here in SVG, and praying that it doesn't change, right? Something that you're saying, right? So the point that you were making in terms of going certain places and seeing certain individuals, and you're saying that you're hesitant to say it or whatever. The thing of it is that there are many persons who think the way that you do. If I am walking in a particular, like the other day, I was walking somewhere, right, and I saw some particular individuals, and they were raising their voices. And I stopped at the entrance of the gap and I observed what was happening. And then I said, was it they arguing? Ask somebody else who was coming out, and this is football, right? So I proceeded to walk because it's a football discussion, right? I proceeded to walk because it's a football discussion. But I am of the same opinion as you. I am not going to stay in places where I know that there are persons who have been targeted victims, have been targeted individuals before. That's only common sense. It's only common sense. So.
No, someone said, hey, I just moved back from Canada. I still feel safe in SVG. Sometimes, yes, you have to be vigilant in your surroundings. But sometimes fear come from people who push the narrative that things are so bad here. And that is how I feel. And these are the comments that I try not to make. Because the last time when I asked, do you feel that you're being an alarmist in certain situations? Persons were offended, deeply offended by the question. But it's not, I would always draw reference to this. It is the same as when the ruling was handed out related to the LGBTQ situation. And Badu went on to post, it is now dangerous for people in the community. Just, when was it? Yesterday? Yesterday or Saturday, I was driving to Kingston. I saw 2 men holding hands walking. I'm wondering, was someone just going to run out and attack them? But when you say certain things like that, it gives that impression.
Yeah.
I do not feel like if I'm going into these carnival shows that a gunman is going to come and randomly attack me. A rational fear would be, would I be robbed? Would someone steal from my vehicle?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just want everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah,
Going
everybody
back to
entitled
Dave.
to their opinion.
Going
Eh?
back to Dave, yes,
What?
there are. You know what it
But
is
Dave
that
is not
interesting?
alone, eh? Dave
He
is not
isn't.
alone.
And what it is that I tend to find though, and this is why sometimes I avoid comments on the certain social
Yes,
media
you
posts.
understand. That
The
is the
reason
way you
why-
avoid comments on social media is why I avoid comments on certain platforms.
The reason why, and you know what is, you tend to hear the alarm coming from a lot of persons.
Foreigners,
Exactly.
or persons who don't go outside.
Exactly. Not even just to go outside, those who are overseas, you know. And,
Yes,
and
it's foreigners are shut in.
the one little thing that you house, what is my little island coming to?
Yes. Oh my God.
consistent.
Sweet St. Vincent.
Yeah.
What is happening?
You know, and listeners, we're not trying to make it sound as if it's
and I'm
not
downplaying
real,
it,
you know.
come
But
on. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
I mean, sometimes you probably might have to try to understand Dave. I live in a neighborhood. I live in America.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of streets below me. It's known to be a criminal street.
Mm-hmm.
So me, for sure, ain't going down there to line, hang out, because
Exactly.
the activities are going on down there ain't part of my lifestyle.
What state you living in?
I live in Oakland, California.
Oh, okay. Oakland.
Why you laugh like that?
Now you hear stories.
I know. That's why I say why you laugh like that. Because I want to know if you're one of those persons who heard how Oakland is so bad.
Yes.
But it's not as bad as people say, right?
Because once you know your environment.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I know my lifestyle. I know what I want. You know what I do. I don't afraid to go to the supermarket. I don't afraid to go nowhere. And I'm quite sure that here, because we done gone in the hundreds already in terms of murders, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
We done gone in the hundreds. I mean, if you're talking about fear, I'm the one who should be more fear of going out.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I was going to say on a Roleza. The foreigners that usually, what is happening to Sweet St. Vincent living in some of the most dangerous countries?
Mm.
I'm telling you, you see the trolling when things happen in St. Vincent, I see people like in Brooklyn and all them things start talking about what's going on in my little country. St.
Boy.
Vincent. I just laugh because where you live, you probably have 10 or 20 more than what St. Vincent have.
Kojo, I will tell you.
To come out your house.
I will tell you. When I was in Brooklyn in 2014, the week when I flew in, a girl was raped and thrown off a building. The next day, someone else was shot. The day after that, my friends and I went into a Chinese restaurant. I got a call. I stepped outside. When I stepped back in, my friend was like, yo, you know what just happened? I'm like, what? We just got robbed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the likeliness of that happening in St. Vincent?
And consecutively like that as well, too.
And people still go out and enjoy themselves. They
Exactly.
still have the dance, they still have the clubbing.
Exactly.
Nobody think about it. Yeah. So, I mean, criminality is going to happen all over the world. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, like people say, oh, tourists ain't going to come because a few murders happen in St. Vincent. Them tourists live in a country that has more murders than St. Vincent have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm telling you, I don't understand people making all this big thing about, 2 killing and 1 killing. The problem with those guns, I don't understand. As you say, Harry, I don't understand how that kind of gun in St. Vincent. Trust me, I don't understand.
Why? Why is the main goal? Like,
I could actually understand the why.
What is the reason?
I could understand the why. When you mean to do business, you're doing business. Sorry, I keep harping on it, but it's the truth.
And you see, well, okay, they're trying to stop those guns on the street now, because those guns is what they use to do mass murders in schools and all that kind of stuff.
No, thanks.
You know, those guns are for war, not for
exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
Protection.
That's exactly how I feel.
I don't make my point. So
yeah, thanks a lot, Kojo.
Right, no problem.
All right.
Yeah, so it's not that I'm attacking Dave's person. That's when you hear things like this, you're like,
the point.
What is it? Like,
yeah. But so one murder for years, too many.
Yeah.
We will agree on that. Yeah. And yes, we do not want to hear of our crime rates going up. We don't even want to hear of petty incidents happening, right? Yeah. We would legit love to be living in a society where nothing happens. You know, but as Kojo said, that isn't happening. as much as we would want for it to happen. But at the end of it all, I think the onus is on us as citizens to use a bit of common sense when we, even within our own homes, right? Use a bit of common sense. When you're on social media, don't be too flashy about the things that you have, about the places that you're going. You don't need to advertise when you're at the event. You could probably advertise the next day when you're done reach back home safely. You know, so there's little things that we could do to probably to try to safeguard our own safety. As Ari and I both agreed on, if we go to an event and we see certain individuals there, we ain't like men too close to them, right? We're moving away. Might roll right out to the event. So, you know, it's just little things that we can do to safeguard our own safety and our property as well.
What I have to end saying is, shout out to the Royal Civil and Grenadines Police Force. There's another thing that was brought up there that I honestly don't like hearing myself. Oh, there are 18 firearms brought in. How many firearms do you think there is in Simmons? If you take it, it's still one less firearm on the street, and they managed to get 18. No,
and voluntary, right?
And 300 rounds of ammunition. Now, why we would say, okay, we would want more, we have to be realistic that these things take time. As the police build a relationship with citizens become more comfortable turning in these guns, then we have, in turn, less crime or less gun-related activities. So we have to applaud them where we can, and we have to support them where we can, because they can't rush into people's homes and force them to turn in the firearms. And I do think 18 is a good job. I look forward to them bringing in more.
But it's not it's not even commendations on the police by themselves. It's the persons, it's the citizens who heard the message and responded to the message. You know, so we have to extend that congratulations to those who did turn in the firearms and the ammunition as well, right? So we're
going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more Activated Mornings this morning.